Hey guys, it's Mo, and it is Friday. It is Friday, the 10th of May. May the dozen be with you. I don't know. I didn't think of anything with 10. Thank you, Wolfram, for doing the Modly Mod stuff, and welcome, Lady Sam, Crafts and Models. You know, I would love to do more crafty streams. I need time. Lately, between middle daughter hurting her shoulder and having physical therapy appointments and all of my doctor's appointments, I am greatly optimistic about the time I have, and I underestimate life. Welcome, reindeer. It is good to see you. And Cynthia, retired firefighter, thank you for your service and good to see you. Tammy, welcome. So our first story is this incredibly douchey McDouche face uh, is an ass. Shocking, I know. My shock. Now, it is, quote, chose again to be heartless and immoral. Madam Adam Montgomery declines a drastically reduced prison sentence in exchange for telling where Harmony Montgomery's remains can be found during a dramatic sentencing hearing. I am going to possibly cover this in full snarkitude because I have thoughts. I have thoughts that require a lot of F words. Adam Montgomery, 33, the Y donator of the parts, he's not a father. The sperm donor of Harmony Montgomery, 5, was given a choice in New Hampshire courtroom on Thursday to tell the prosecution where his daughter's remains are and get a substantial sentence reduction, or don't and get the book thrown at him. Good morning, Linda Evers. I hope you are having a wonderful Friday. After the offer was made, the convicted child unaliver barely moved a muscle. A few beats of pure silence passed. Quote, since the offer has been rejected by Your Honor, that is yet another reason why the minimum should not apply. Senior Assistant Attorney General Ben Agati. Is Ben Agati the short one or the giant one? Because the short one was insufferable. Oh gosh, Jacob Alexander, he looked exactly like the guy, like from Seinfeld. I just couldn't with him. And yes, everyone be sure to go look at Squid Pro Quo if you want to, like her videos and subscribe. Excuse me. What an absolute douche canoe. I mean, the one thing you could do to honor your daughter, and you're just deciding to be a butthole about it. What I just did was not a stunt. It's not a theatrical event. I stated in closing arguments that there are moments in life where we are tested, where our failure or success lies in whether we do the right thing at that moment in time. And time again, about 30 seconds ago, the defendant chose to again be heartless, immoral, selfish, and unapologetic. Good morning, Slinky. Welcome. On February 22nd, Adam Montgomery was convicted of Harmony's unaliving. Now, I do think in the trial, the state did not meet its level of burden. I'm not going to lie. But he is such a douchey douche. You know when you have those moments when you're like, my principles are this, but he is an a-hole and I want to see him suffer. So I kind of did one of these things with my principles and wanting to, put this man into a dark hole for all the tragedy that he's just brought around him. It's just gross. And the fact that he didn't even show up for his trial, what an absolute douche canoe move. Not attending to face the allegations was his right as a criminal defendant. That aspect of the high-profile case, however, prompted the Granite State's legislators to pass a law requiring people convicted of the most serious felonies to attend their sentencing hearing. On Thursday, the condemned man sat through several victim impact statements that excoriated him as a monster and more during his sentencing hearing broadcast by Manchester-based ABC affiliate WMUR. I need to write that down. I might do a stream this weekend covering this or just a movie, but I need not a movie, a video. Welcome, Derek. And thank you for having me on your morning drive, Slinky. I am looking at this weekend to start a Spotify or some kind of basically have everything that I do audio recordings of. I don't know. I have all these ideas. I need an assistant to say, no, squirrel brain. Stick with one project for once and do not think of 84 more projects. Uh, yeah, so I definitely want to hear the victim impact statements. I know they're going to be rough, but the more people that get eyes on this, they might be able to say, hey, I saw this big truck and it was, stopped here and he took something out. Harmony's mother, Crystal Sori, who lost and regained custody of her daughter due to substance problems throughout the girl's too short life, took the defendant to task for his previously expressed desire to defend himself in court and refute the offensive allegations against him. She had a life worth living, Sori said bitterly through her ever-present tears, unlike your own, and it bothered you to your core that she was nothing like you and everything like me. Beautiful inside and out, funny, smart, sassy, loving, and most of all kind. She wasn't a coward like you are. I'll be forever grateful for that. You're a coward who has to be in charge of everything and everyone around you, insecure and paranoid. The list goes on and on. She was none of those things. She lit up a room when she walked in and she made her mark wherever she went, and you couldn't stand it. Honestly, victim impact statements should be allowed to address the defendant. In my thoughts, I'm sure there is a very, very good legal reason why you address the court instead of just, throw tomatoes at the defense or the defendant once he's convicted. But it would be cathartic to be able to say all of this to him, I'm sure. The defendant also heard from his estranged wife, Kayla Montgomery. Goodbye, she read in a letter out loud by a victim advocate. I don't know about you, but I need some kind of closure. I'll forever have a place in my heart for you. What is wrong with this daggone woman? Sal couldn't even fix her. This woman. Look, I get it. I get having feelings for a dingus. I get it. I sort of get the part where she's grieving her fantasy relationship with him. And by fantasy, I mean, the fantasy that he would get better, that they would both get better, and that they would have the, little house with a white picket fence. I get that. I get wanting to leave that alone. I wouldn't write that in a letter to the court. It's just a personal thing. I wouldn't want to, indicate any favorable feelings for the defendant. You were my best friend, my husband, the person I chose to spend the rest of my life with. By the time Thanksgiving came around the year 2019, we were losing everything. My job, our place to live, and living in the car for a few weeks. We lost that. At the same time, Harmony dies because of your anger and hitting her so many times. Y'all, I do not believe Kayla at all. At all. Her performance, I thought they were going to lose the case, to be honest with you. Adam Montgomery has consistently maintained his innocence, and though he never attended his trial or spoke up during the hearing, his defense attorney reiterated that position on Thursday, while saying that the prosecutor's offer was in fact a quote-unquote stunt intended to elicit reaction, calling it inappropriate. I definitely do think that this weekend, probably Sunday, I will do his sentencing. So we will have a Sunday shenanigans stream with his closing. I've got to make sure that it's up on YouTube, but we are going to do that because I want to yell at him and say naughty words. Quote, I did not kill my daughter Harmony, Montgomery said when being sentenced for firearm charges in August 2023. I could have had a meaningful life, but I blew that opportunity through drugs. But I loved my daughter unconditionally, and I did not unalive her. Instead, the defense aimed to pin the girl's unaliving on Kayla Montgomery, but the jurors were not convinced by that line of argument. Police believe that Harmony passed away on December 7th, 2019, the product of her father's rage after a series of bathroom accidents inside the Chrysler Sebring the Montgomery family begrudgingly called home. The family had been evicted the day before Thanksgiving that year. Yeah, I'm very okay with never ever yeah, for Mother's Day, we're looking at the worst father ever. I was gonna do a kind of a compilation like Dave did on my shenanigans for Sunday stream with a bunch of terrible mothers, but I think we'll just do this because I want to say some things. Then for years, nothing. The lack of knowledge as to her whereabouts made its way on the law enforcement radar after Sori raised the alarm in December 2021. Let's see. But by then, it was far too late. While the girl's remains were never recovered, the state's lead witness, Kayla Montgomery, provided what is believed to be the most likely story of her death and disappearance. And absolutely, these are just thoughts of a fake redhead on the internet. Do not take them as life advice at any possible moment. Adam Montgomery's rage toward his daughter culminated on December 7th, 2019, Kayla told the investigators. On that day, quote, Adam struck Harmony in the head and face in 3 separate occasions when she had a bathroom accident. You're living in a car. You went to Burger King. I don't understand where you're getting money to go to Burger King and not, again, you know, we've all been teenagers. We've all had not a lot of money. You can make a whole thing of rice and beans, or something like that, something cheaper. I don't, no, that was Mr. Mo. Good morning, Celestial Force. I really think I hurt her this time, Montgomery allegedly said after the attack. His wife recalled, I think I did something. After the violence, Kayla Montgomery told investigators the family returned to the parking lot of the apartment complex where they had been consistently parking their Sebring since being evicted. Later, she said they realized that the girl was no longer alive, and Adam Montgomery placed her body into a red and black Under Armour duffel bag. According to Kayla Montgomery, her husband kept Harmony's body in a duffel bag and moved it. What are you looking for?
Not a font.
Okay, I've got pens. Hello, sorry. Mr. Mo and his father are getting ready to uh, go do some things right now, and he's like, I can't write with this damn fountain pen, and I love my micro fountain pen. So he was like, why are all the pens in your room wrong? And I'm like, because I like tiny writing. I like the very micro writers. Marriage. In the immediate aftermath of her unaliving, Kayla Montgomery told investigators that her husband occasionally kept his daughter's body outside in the snow to slow down the process of decomposition. For months, Kayla Montgomery told investigators her husband moved the girl's remains around, even keeping her in a walk-in freezer of a restaurant where he worked as a dishwasher and cook. Y'all, I'm out. Wherever he was, cooking, I am out. I am so skeeved out, I cannot even imagine. I would never buy from there. And it's not the company's fault. Oh, thank you, Jeff Montgomery, for coming over. And I've heard that Welsh Lady Reads and Shizzy are having a grand old time, so thank you for coming over. Hello, Christine. Welcome. I hope you are having a good Friday. Adam Montgomery used lime to try to dissolve his daughter's frozen body while squishing her flesh. And see, she helped cut away the child's clothes to make her body fit into a tote bag bearing the logo of a Catholic hospital. Y'all are so close to getting smited by God. I'm telling you what. Look, your heavenly lordness, we need some lightning strikes now. The girl's father, a career criminal, was ultimately convicted of one charge. Who let this man have this child? Who? I want the names. I don't want the address. I don't want to dox them. I want them fired. I want them run out of town. I am so sick of DSF or Family Services CPS doing a all 10% of a half-assed job. I'm done. I'm done with them. I swear to goodness. Oh, thank you for joining, Fraud at Wrangler, and for the $5. I'm sorry I'm late. I made a dumb. That is awesome. I am working on. So I do have a choice for you guys. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, big screen. Okay, so we have two wigs for Wendy. This one is more blonde, and this one is more red. Which one do you put in the chat, blonde or red? This one is more of a brunette. This one has more ashy tones. I'll have to look at a picture of her, but Mr. Mo's father was like, "You have a lot of wigs. Are you okay?" I was like, "Look, I didn't tell your son I was a theater kid. Sorry." The prosecution had offered a sentence of 35 years to life for the murder conviction to allow other convictions to run concurrently or at the same time, and still others to be suspended if only the killer had disclosed the location of the tote bag. Staring on unmoved by the offer, he did not. Montgomery was sentenced to 45 years to life in prison for murder, 3.5 years to 7 years apiece for falsifying evidence and tampering with witnesses, and 4 to 8 years for the assault in the second degree over the attack on Kayla Montgomery, as well as a 12-month suspended sentence for abuse of a corpse. His total sentence is 56 years or life in prison. At this time, unlike so many other times, he had to show up and be present. Quote, "You took a human life, and you did so in the most callous and heartless of ways," Judge Amy Messer told the defendant. "You robbed a 5-year-old girl, your own daughter, of life she was supposed to lead. You stole from your sons a sister. You took a daughter from her mother." Oh, that's right. I can do a poll. I forgot about that. I am my genius level. Thank you, chat, for reminding. All right, I did that, so you should be getting a poll. Wendy wigs, do you think the more ash blonde or the brunette would be better? Because I have finally figured out what we're doing. Good morning, Captain Kern and Cindy Snyder. Welcome. So our next story, "Oh Baby, 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 Oh Baby." That song was like an audio earworm that you couldn't get up and could not get out of your head. Also, I might have sang "Oh rabies, rabies," but that's just me. Justin Bieber and his wife Haley are expecting a baby after he sparked concern with crying photos. Don't you all just hate those vague texts where people are vague posting where like something's really going on and it's just to get attention for them? For the love of all that is holy. Haley and Justin Bieber are expecting a baby. On Thursday, Haley took to Instagram to share a montage of her husband, Justin, snapping shots of her cradling her baby bump. The Rhodes founder wore a white lace dress as Justin wore a black baseball cap backwards. For the love of all that's holy. and a black jacket. This will be the couple's first child. They tied the knot in 2018. Fox News Digital confirmed that Haley is just over 6 months pregnant, according to the model's rep. Associated Associated Press reported that video and photos used in the couple's Instagram post were from Justin and Haley's vow renewal in Hawaii. The happy announcement comes shortly after the pop star shared images of himself crying online. Who does that? Who we have come we have become a TMI culture. We share so much to the internet that it's like we don't even think about, hey, maybe this isn't a good look. We have becoming an overshare community. It is crazy. Well, I know I didn't put it up because it'll be in spicy news, but you guys have seen the video, or you might have seen the video if you're watching TikTok or Twitter, or, where the guy was, in, I think, New York, and he was just choking people out and abducting them. I mean, and someone wasn't calling the police, they were filming it. I can't. Our society is broken. His post was filled with thousands of comments and worry from fans about his well-being. However, Kaylee chimed in with a comment that seemed to imply that her husband was doing okay, because he's a pretty crier. He still looks 12 and a half. I don't get it. Even with the beard, he looks like he put on a fake beard. I'm so sorry, Justin. I didn't mean to make fun of you. You're not my type. I'm so sorry. A fan wrote, I hope you're doing okay. I hate to see tears running down your face. Another commented, please tell me why you're crying. I'm dying to know. One person offered Justin some advice and wrote, young man, you don't owe anyone anything. Go live off the grid with your wife and start a family. Also, why? Why the pink hat? Look, if they're in love, I'm okay with it. Now the news has been shared, fans are weighing in that Justin's previous crying photo wasn't a sigh of sadness. He was instead overjoyed. Quote, he was crying happy tears, and y'all tore this woman down for nothing. Congratulations. An Instagram user commented on Justin's baby announcement, which was the same as his wife. Another user wrote, congratulations. I hope the haters can finally keep quiet now. Who cares enough about Justin Bieber to be a hater? Fraud Wrangler, thank you for the $2. Don't say. I mean, who the hell cares so much about Justin Bieber? I don't even remember. He had that one song that made me really want chips and salsa. Despacito, I think he did. Every time that song plays, I want to go to a Mexican restaurant and eat some chips and salsa, which is terrible of me. I'm not. But there you go. Justin is going to have a mini Bieber, and dear God, please don't let him be musically talented. I don't think I can handle another Bieber. No more. In good parenting news, and way to go, Dad, an anti-Israeli protester, 16, was arrested for vandalizing Central Park World War I memorial after his father turned him in. Good on you, Dad. Welcome, JKD Buck. Good on you. I mean, good dad right there. A teenage anti-Israel protester who vandalized a World War I monument in Central Park earlier this week has been arrested after his father turned him over to the cops. According to NYPD and police sources, the 16-year-old was charged with criminal mischief in the third degree, a felony, and making graffiti, which is a misdemeanor, for allegedly defacing the 107th Infantry Memorial. This is what pisses me off. There were people, these kids' age, that went in to fight World War I. There were young men that are this person's age, and they went to fight on, Omaha and Omaha Beach. They went to, the Battle of the Bulge. They crossed the Menden line. I mean, and now we have kids that are like, I like something that I have no idea about. He could probably not tell me where Palestine is on a map. He couldn't tell where Ukraine is on a map. Uh, the teen, a regular face at rallies organized by Within Our Lifetime, only landed in custody after his dad turned him in Thursday night, the sources said. NYPD Deputy Commissioner Kaz Daughtry posted a blurred video of 2x of the young vandal in handcuffs sitting on a bench in a police station. Quote, the despicable vandalism we saw earlier this week of the World War I memorial will not be ignored and will not go unpunished, Daughtry tweeted as he announced one of the culprits' arrests. The First World War. He couldn't even probably tell me what the capital of New York is, for the love of all that is holy. Quote, this isn't simple juvenile hijinks. This is an act of desecration that undermines the freedom of our heroes that fought and died for things, he said. The sources said the youngster attends Tawnyville High School and has no prior arrests. The World Memorial was defaced by several vandals who scrawled Gaza and Free Palestine on the base and plastered the statue with anti-Israel stickers. Another protester torched an American flag in front of the bronze memorial depicting 7 World War I foot soldiers in battle. Just the absolute grossness of it. You have no idea how many. Yeah, Tolkien was in the Battle of the Somme in World War I, and he was the only survivor. The fields with the dead people were probably a very real interpretation of the horrors he saw in the trenches. And our generation has people that are like, I don't want to join the military. Oh my God. I'm about to go full, oh gosh, Space Troopers? Dang it, what's the name of that show? Starship Troopers, I think. The one where they fight the bugs, and you have to be, service equals citizenship. I am about to do that. If I am president, you have to do something for the love of all that is holy. Yeah, I'm kind of okay. Like, here's a ticket. Have fun. Several others were seen climbing on top of the infantrymen and waving Palestine flags. The desecration of the memorial outraged New Yorkers who visit the site Tuesday to see the damage themselves. Quote, these people are just nuts and violent. Michael Skoll, who has lived in the Tony, Manhattan neighborhood for 25 years, told the Post. Burning flags is anti-American and it's stupid, he added. It defensively doesn't help the Palestinians or the peace process. These people are not in the tradition of believing America is a good place. It's disgusting. The enraged locals argued that the throngs of pro-Palestinian protesters were only hurting their own cause with their mindless destruction. It's horrible to treat a World War I memorial the way they did. It breaks your heart, Ron Zucker, 50 years old, said. I mean, the amount of people that were lost in World War I, towns, literal towns were wiped out. You go to Europe, you go to England, they have World War I memorials, not so much II, because they lost entire towns. I mean, it was the first mechanized war, and we didn't really know, but oh my gosh, to see it desecrated really, really hurts, because we are here because people before us fought for things and planted a tree under whose shadow they would never see. They thought about the future. They fought for what they believed in. And now we've got kids that are setting fire because they don't have purpose, and I'm so sick of it. Quote, in this country you have a right to voice your opinion, but not to destroy memorials that pay tribute to the heroes who died for our country. You've got to have some decency, he added. Protesters are not helping their own case by destroying monuments and burning flags. A cleanup crew on Tuesday scrubbed off Gaza and Free Palestine graffiti left behind at the memorial using power washers and biodegradable chemicals cleaning agents. Anarchists on Monday night also vandalized Civil War General William Tecumseh Sherman. Okay, we should all take the Shermans. The Sherman, look, I was born just south of the Mason-Dixon line, but I have always lived northish. We can all agree William Tecumseh Sherman and his march through the South was kinda effed up. The man was a little ruthless. If anything, if we want to take that statue down and put it in a museum, I'm kind of okay with that. Welcome to Underwood. So, people acting ridiculous. Oh, also remember to check if you're on live chat or, top post, because if you're only getting everything if all right, I'm ending the poll and it looks like all of you are going with the blonde, so I will be working on that. I have to work on that and then we'll go. Okay, our next video is for Sal mostly. I'm just kidding, Sal. How to find out if a woman is a sociopath or psychopath. There's one obvious tell, experts say. If I do this thing, I'm going to be really sad. She could be a real head case. Want to know the difference between a woman with a not-so-great personality and a complete psychopath? New research reveals that ladies have one obvious tell to separate the sometimes sour sweeties from a serious psycho, whether or not they move their heads when they talk. Nonverbal behaviors, i.e., head dynamics, represent an important understudied form of communication that may enhance our ability to detect certain forms of psychopathy, including psychopathy. There you go. Or psychopathology, the study from the University of New Mexico. So how to tell if you're dating a real cray-cray, or she's just, normal cray as a woman. Using an automated detection algorithm, the research team determined that women who hold their heads perfectly still or with minimal movement while in a conversation possess high levels of psychopathic propensities. Here we utilized an automatic technique to detect, extract, and analyze head position and dynamics related to psychopathic traits in a sample of incarcerated women, said the scientists. For their finding, the analysis assessed the nonverbal tendency of 213 female inmates. Yeah, good news. I move my head, so I'm just normal cray-cray. The participants ranged in age from 21 to 57. They were detained in a medium and maximum security correctional facility in the U.S. Researchers defined psychopathic traits as a combination of interpersonal dysfunctions such as manipulation, pathological lying, callousness, lack of remorse, impulsivity, irresponsibility, and criminal versatility. Letitia Stalk, Lori Vallow, let's see, Gertrude Braniszewski, basically a bunch of you people. The investigators observed in video recordings that observed recorded interviews of each gal in the study. So they're looking at the yaw, pitch, and roll of the head. Interesting idea. Is this going to be the new phrenology, where they touched your head and you had a criminal, propensity by the shape of your head? Because that was some funny stuff. I mean, it was totally wrong. But, the thought that someone could just touch your head and know if you were going to be a propensive for criminal phrenology. Sorry, you're right. Investigators observed video recorded interviews of each gal in the study. The head position was extracted frame by frame from the interviews, explained the authors. The average head position, or AHP, was calculated using spatial information from the extracted frames. The head position in each shot were categorized into one of three identified movements partitions: minimal, moderate, and extreme movement. The less movement, the more psychotic. The probe also included a hair psychopathy checklist revised exam, a common assessment developed in the 1970s by a Canadian psychologist, Robert D. Hare. The 20 minimum checklist the 20 item checklist measured the participants' antisocial tendencies from 1 to 40. The lower the score, the better. Folks earning a score of 30 or higher are considered psychopathic. Dudes aren't in the clear. The eerie findings line up with the previous studies on imprisoned men, which found that males who steady their noggin are often psychos too. And thank you, Linda Evans, for becoming a member. I am I have some stories pulled for, you know, spicy bites. I think I'm going to call them news poppers. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Surprisingly, lady loons are more common than you would think. New York Times, you are going to get so canceled for that, calling ladies loons. Clive Bodie and Angela Ruskin, university professor who specializes in corporate psychopathy, recently suggested that female psychopaths likely go unnoticed due to societal gender bias. Julie Atkins Schremer, a professor of psychology at Western University in London, Ontario, posits that men are often simply more overtly nutty. In a recent report, she suggested that guys with inexplicable affinities for their obnoxious, noisy, clunky cars are far more likely to be certifiable. A desire for a loud car with a modified muffler, wrote Summer, is predicted by being a man and higher scores of psychopathy and sadism. Yipes. Well, I mean, I don't think wanting a car that's a little loud is all that bad. But, I guess you can. Speaking of renewed, make sure take a time if you have a second in this time in the day to make sure that you're still subscribed to your favorite subscribers. Um, YouTube will go into places and take you off the list thinking you don't want to go there anymore. So make sure you're still subscribed to everyone because I know that, everyone else that you listen to would appreciate it. Because, YouTube is nuts. In other news, would you like to go to a zombie college? And why are there no zombies in this zombie college? Zombie colleges? These universities are living another life online and no one can say why. Stafford University says it will prepare students to, quote, be the boss, end quote, but applicants hoping for a Stratford education will ensure that the future are headed for disappointment. The Virginia school closed 2 years ago this fall. Instead, Stratford is one of at least 9 shuttered colleges whose names have been resurrected on the web. None of these zombie universities are accredited or cleared to receive financial aid, hurdles that signal legitimacy. And their motives are cloaked in a mystery no federal oversight agency seems to try to solve. Interesting. So they're just taking uh, old stuff and old college names and saying, would you like to send me money for my for-profit charity? Carrie Camel, who heads the Center for Anti-Counterfeiting and Product Protection at Michigan University, was perplexed by the counterfeit sites. At Today USA's request, she reviewed them and said she suspected identity theft could be a play for some. Quote, they figured out a way to post something, get students to apply, take an application form, take credit information, take financial aid information, Camel said. Some of the imposter websites are tied to colleges that shut down years ago, like Morris University in Nevada, which closed its doors in 2014, or Jones International, one of the first schools to offer college courses online, which followed in 2015. Others focus on institutions whose demises came recently, including the private Catholic Marymount California University, which closed nearly 2 years ago. Brian, Brian G. Marquette, the real Marymount, California's final president, was troubled to learn of the new website from US Today. He was also confused. Why would someone spend so much time and energy creating a replica of the school? Former staffers, uh, with other former staffers, Marquette sent a cease and desist letter to the site's domain register, Namecheap Inc., and posted a warning on the actual Marymount's website. Quote, we take it personally that someone is misrepresenting what we worked so hard for 54 years to create, Marcotte said, and to have somebody twisting reality of where we are right now is very troublesome to us. The warning was posted on April 9th or 29th, and by May 6th, the imposter account had been taken down. But it was one of several changes that came after US Today began asking questions. But whoever is behind the website will have an ever growing pool of schools to emulate as more universities close, and regulators have had mixed success in addressing counterfeit school websites. King's College in Charlotte, which closed in 2018, attracted the attention of North Carolina Attorney General in December 2022, according to a local television station. More than a year later, that office is, quote, working with tech companies to limit the reach of these fraudsters and help prevent others from falling victim to this scam. According to Olivia Wilde, deputy press secretary, who would not divulge precisely what the website was accused of doing. That imposter website remains online. The Federal Trade Commission declined to say whether the websites even fall under its purview. In 2018, the agency fined operators of what appeared to be military recruiting websites, including one, Army.com. It would be Army.gov, Chandler Halderson style. It would be Armor.hotmail. Good Lord, that boy was so dumb. In 2018, the agency fined operators. Okay, but those sites were actually mining marketing leads for colleges. The fine, later suspended, was about $12 million, and the operators were required to surrender the domain name for the imposter sites. The Education Department confirmed that 9 schools identified by USA Today were closed, and it did not approve the accreditor of some of the universities claimed. But the agency said it does not oversee recognized accredited agencies or schools that are ineligible for federal aid. Through a web of connections and links, many of the closed university, a nagging question remains: where is the spider? Administrators listed on the school's website have almost no digital footprint. Phone numbers lead to pre-recorded messages that in turn lead nowhere. Google Street Views shows listed address often of nondescript office buildings instead of campuses. The Stratford address, now in Kentucky, is a law office. When asked if it was home to the university, the receptionist said no. Online Stratford provides information about its business, computer science, law, and other degrees, but no post list of the professors who teach or advertise the courses. I feel so bad. There are probably a bunch of kids that are thinking, hey, I would like to go to college online, and they get scammed. This is so terrible. With no inclination, so they're supposed to spend $75 in an application fee. Seems like that's what we are doing. In sad news for Elon Musk, the Neuralink chip suffers an unexpected setback in its first human brain transplant, or implant, not transplant. If you have to drill into my head to get this thing going, it reminds me too much of Animorphs, The Thing, Aliens, and the face huggers. Stay away from my head. Elon, I'm sorry. Unless you make it in pill form, I'm just not going to do it. Elon Musk's brain chip startup Neuralink suffered an unexpected problem in its first ever human implant as the device began to detach from the patient's skull, reducing the amount of data it could capture, the company revealed Wednesday. Neuralink's brain-computer interface, known as BCI, was implanted into 29-year-old patient Nolan Arkbaugh his brain in January. The chip was designed to help patients with paralysis control external technology using only their mind. And Arbaugh, who is paralyzed from the shoulders down due to a diving accident 8 years ago, is participating in Neuralink's 6-year trial to test the device's safety. Oh yeah, the Borg. How could I forget them? I am more of a Trek or a Wars person than a Trek person, but I like Deep Space Nine, not gonna lie. So this is what they do. Again, if you have to stick things in my, if you have to drill into my head, no. Can we work on regrowing limbs? I mean, could we splice in with CRISPR, like the ability to regenerate your arm or regenerate nerve tissue? Just last month, Neuralink live streamed a 9-minute video of Arbaugh showing how the BCI technology works. He has been playing video games and explains that he simply imagines the cursor moving where he wants it to go, and it does. Oh my god, he has the force. Neuralink's chip contains 1,024 electrodes across 64 threads, which are thinner than a strand of human hair, that are programmed to gather data about the brain's neural activity and movement intention and send the data to the company's computer for decoding to transform the thoughts into action. However, in the weeks since the astounding video, a number of threads retracted from Arbaugh's brain, resulting in net decrease of the number of effective electrodes. Yeah, just no. Neuralink said in a blog post Wednesday, earlier reported by the Wall Street Journal. As a result, Neuralink was not able to measure how effectively the system of electrodes and threads were performing. It was unclear how many threads have detached. In response to this change, we have modified the recording algorithm to be more sensitive to neural population signals, improved the techniques to transfer these signals into cursor movement, and enhance the user interface, Neuralink added, insisting that the refinement will enhance the accuracy of Arbaugh's ability to control cursor bits per second, or BPS. BPS, according to the company, is the standard measure for speed and accuracy. These refinements produced a rapid and sustained improvement in BPS that has now superseded Nolan's initial performance, Neuralink said. Well, there you go. The company, which recently changed its home base from Delaware to Nevada, because Delaware is, it's a terrible tax haven. There's a Twilight episode where everyone has a Neuralink that lets them access all information all the time. The computer malfunctions, disconnecting the world, and nobody can do anything except the guy who couldn't get the device implanted. So he starts teaching everyone how to read and perform basic tasks he had to learn without the machine. That's a good episode. Or let's see, the company, which recently changed, after Musk spat with a Delaware judge who invalidated his $56 billion pay package at Tesla and considered removing the implant, but the problem hasn't posed a risk directly to Arbaugh's safety, the journal reported. Even so, the possibility of removing Arbaugh's implant is a so-called explantation was floated, people familiar with the matter told the Post. Neuralink did not immediately respond to the Post's request for comment. He became the first human subject of the chip developed by Musk's owned company when a robot surgeon plugged the implant into his brain. I mean, how much more Terminator can we get? we're gonna make cyborgs. I just know it. And then it's gonna be that cyborg movie with Will Smith in it, and they're all gonna go cray cray. It, you guys, this is how Skynet happens. Do you want Skynet in my full Mallory Archer voice? You know, do we want cyborgs? This is how we get cyborgs and Skynet. Let's see. Despite the snafu, is reportedly using the Neuralink's BCI system for about 8 hours a day on weekdays and as many as 10 hours on the weekend. Now I can literally just lie in bed and play to my heart's content, he said in a March live stream, or at least until the battery of his rechargeable chip dies. Neuralink was founded in 2016 and has mostly kept information about its technology and human trials under wraps, prompting calls for greater transparency. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration greenlit human trials of the chip last year after the company did hundreds of tests on animals, and faced backlash from animal rights groups in the process. For his part, Alba said he signed up to try the implant because he wanted to be part of something. I feel like it's going to change the world. Again, cyborgs. This is what's going to happen. I can't with you guys. In other news, if you would like a giant SUV-sized radio flyer, red wagon is up for auction. You can own this. Yes, yes, you. I mean, I would get it, except I don't have anywhere to park it right now. An SUV-sized radio flyer red wagon with a top speed of 60 miles per hour and about 57,000 miles on the odometer is up for auction. Judy Foster said she decided to sell the unique vehicle after the death of her husband, Fred Keller, who used the chassis of a 1976 Mazda pickup to create the radio flyer around 14 years ago. Quote, I'll miss it and I'll miss the fun of driving it. It's so much fun to take somebody for a ride and see people's reactions to you, Foster told CNN. The wagon car is now being auctioned online by Alaska Premier Auctions and Appraisals as part of its Mother's Day Classic Car Collection. Bidding is open through Sunday. Listings state that the vehicle is fully road legal. Quote, this is one of a kind vehicle that turns more heads than anything we have ever seen, the auction house said, invoking childhood memories that nearly everyone can relate to. This rig is good old-fashioned fun, and the smiles follow. So there you go. That was our last, oh no, I'm sorry. So leaving on a positive note, you know, this must have been so much fun to ride around and, be with her husband and all that. So I am glad that, you know, she she is letting it go, and maybe it'll have a new life somewhere. And I mean, I won't be able to drive the radio flyer, but someone will. Have a wonderful day. I am sending you guys over to Baker. I will probably be over there too for a little bit, and then I will be recording Wendy's part of the conversation over the phone. Thank you guys. I do think that the ash blonde is probably a better look for her, so thanks for that. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys later.